Welcome.
Welcome,
What is
welcome.
good? Welcome to the Jackson Joint After Set the live after
The
set.
live after set. Ain't that
Well,
something?
you know what? I don't even think I've been to an after set since college.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Do
probably
they
been
even
that
still call them
long.
after sets?
I don't know. It's been too long.
I
We
know,
we
I
we
know.
out of the loop.
Absolutely.
Y'all
So,
let us know if y'all can hear us. Put
yeah,
it
please
in the
do.
comments in the chat if y'all can hear us. Make sure we good.
Because we don't want to just be talking and thinking we saying something. Y'all can't
Right,
even
y'all can't even hear
hear what
us.
we saying down to the Jackson joint.
And let us know where you're tuning in from. All right. Hey, Nika.
Can she hear us? Can you
All
hear
right.
us, Nika?
Yep. They said they can hear us.
Okay, cool.
Good,
All
good.
right, guys.
Hey,
Again,
Danielle.
welcome to the Jackson Joint After Set Live. We are so appreciative for you all pulling up to hang with
I
us.
know, right?
We have been thoroughly enjoying this journey so far. I wanted to like play some music when we first got in, but I didn't do it for two reasons. One, because I'm not trying to get our little live shut down, because
Right,
of the little
exactly.
copyright situation.
You know.
And because I ain't want to start busting a move. Because let me tell y'all, I'm so sore today. So I was jamming to my music yesterday, like I tends to do, right? And
Wow,
I mean,
what? Cooking or cleaning, one of the
not
two.
even that.
Not
I
even
mean,
that. You was
it was just
okay.
a full vibe out situation.
Got it.
So I'm getting it. I got my mega knees going. I mean, I'm getting it. I mean, I'm hitting all the moves, right? And I'm like 39 where? 39 where? Almost 40 where, right? And yeah, when I tell y'all about 15 minutes after the fact,
It was
those
like
legs was
39
like
now.
right there.
39
Those
right
legs
there.
was like almost 40 right there, sis. So I'm talking about I'm breathing heavy. And the thing is, I work out minimum 4 times a week.
Yeah.
But it was just
You're
like
just pulling on different
I
muscles.
guess I was just
You was
hitting
just a
those.
little too excited.
I was just a little too excited when that beat started dropping, and them mega knees was getting a little too. The knees was just they just weren't kneeing anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoo,
And you
okay,
paid for that.
let me pull it on back up because yeah,
You
But again, look, it's still 39 well, okay? It's still team 39 well, but them legs let me know.
I'm with you. I mean,
them
beautiful.
legs let me know right there, sis. So that is another reason why I did not play the music.
Because it would have got out of control.
I ain't want to bust a move, and then y'all got me all over, all over Beyonce's internet. Like I mean, I'm broken at the knees, so I ain't want to do that.
No, we can't have that. We can't have that.
So again, thank you guys for pulling up to hang with us tonight. I think that I wanted to tell the people thank you. Thank you first and foremost for not even just tonight, but for just joining us on this journey in general. When we launched the Jackson Joint podcast, we didn't really know what to expect. All we knew was that we wanted to, like, is if you've seen the trailer or watched any of the episodes, we just wanted to commemorate our 15th year and do it in a way that was meaningful and really carry out an assignment, that we felt like God had given us. And that's what we've done. But the reception has been so warm. You just never really know what can happen. It can be crickets. People can be like, oh, okay, another little podcast. Yeah, that's cute. But you guys have not done that. You guys have been more than supportive, and I am so thankful, grateful, and appreciative. And your support does not go unnoticed.
It does not go unnoticed. I mean, it's been you guys with the comments and the texts, calls, any way that we got feedback from you guys. We thank you so much because as Mimi said, whenever you launch something new, you just never know how it's going to really be received by the people. And when you put something out there that you're really passionate about, it can be a little nerve-wracking, wondering like how people are going to respond. But you guys have been awesome. The feedback has been great. The support has been more than we could have expected. So we thank you. So we just want to start there. Just thank you.
Yes. And so we don't want to assume that everybody that is either joining in right now or that will join in already has an understanding of what this podcast is meant to do, why we're doing this. So for those of you who are new to us, we are the Jacksons. I'm Mimi. This is David. And this podcast is essentially birthed to promote family and to secure generational wellness in families for the generation. So we started this level working with the parents, the married couples, because that's the foundation right there. And when you get that unit together, then you can be that much more healthy for your children, and then they can be healthy for their children, and then the health and the wellness just multiplies from there. So we're trying to deal with all aspects of marriage and parenting and all of the things that come with the family unit. Again, trying to instill that sense of health and wellness. And just putting it out there, we are not licensed, certified, nothing. Like we say all the time, we are just experts of our own experiences.
That's it.
However, we still want to be a conduit and provide a platform for those experts to come on and talk about those things and really approach these topics from a more non-conventional aspect and way, because you kind of expect certain topics to come up when you're talking about marriage, and it's like, okay, yeah, oh, I heard that before, and you kind of already think you know what to expect. Yeah, they probably gonna talk about this, but we really try to come from angles that are not typical and that are not common. So
just putting a different spin and a different,
just a different little vibe or whatever on it. So so that's just a little bit of background for those of you guys who do not know us and are new to us.
Yeah, so far we've launched 2 episodes, right?
Yeah.
We launched, the first episode was Meet the Jacksons, where we took you guys just kind of on the journey of us, right? Just how we met to how we ended up married, and here we are now 15 years into marriage. And then we rocked episode 2, the huddle mentality. So really talking about, how, the state of teamwork within the marriage, right? So, and we called it the huddle mentality, really just coming from using, again, that different spin on a maybe a old topic. So
yeah. And the interesting thing about I'm gonna tell y'all, because we're in the after set now, because we ain't like actually doing the episode. So in the after set, we just really kind of just giving you more of a behind the scenes look at or insight into what may have gone into producing the episode and what may have come after. And so it's interesting. When I tell y'all, God has us being like the first partakers in everything that we talk about. So like, for example, with a huddle mentality, we talked about just a variety of things that a marriage needs, to operate as a team. And I don't even think it was 24 hours later before I was faced with the situation where God was like, oh, okay. Keep that same energy. You talk about something, you got to communicate and you got to do this. And God was like, okay, well, I want you to have that same energy, sis, when you presented with this little situation. And so I was like, well, God, you real funny. But what that allowed me to see was that the responsibility of any platform you have, anytime you are trying to create something that is meant to impact the lives of other people, that is a weighty assignment that you cannot take lightly. And not that we were taking it lightly, but God really allowed me to see the depths of it. Like, you're not about to get up there talking about nothing and pushing nothing that you are either not doing or that you are not working to get better at doing first. So he is making us, y'all, the first partakers. Okay.
Yeah.
And the things that we are talking about. And, it was just really interesting, but it made the information just hit home for me. So in essence, what I'm saying is we're learning right along with you guys. Even though we're the ones sharing it, like, it's different hearing yourself say it and then you watching the episodes back because you're editing. And I'm like, wow, do I even do that? Like, how proficient am I at that? So,
and so that just also speaks to really our level of authenticity. Like, we're not doing this for likes and followers. Like, this
not
is
doing
a
it for
mission
clout
for us, right? We're not clout chasing at all. So we want to make sure that anything that we're saying, we're not doing it for shock value or anything like that, but that we're really hoping to share something that really can be an impact in a positive manner.
And if you ever got a question, if I'm doing anything for clout, if you see me and doing anything public, okay, going on anybody's live, anything, I am Mrs. Introvert. Okay. I am a whole entire introvert. So I don't just look for opportunities to say, hey, me, like, shine the light this way.
Me either. I don't necessarily claim to be an introvert, but I got introverted tendencies.
Yeah, I'm an introverted extrovert. I can be extroverted when I want to be, but I'm definitely much more sort of an introvert. So, but no, we're not doing this, for clout or, everybody got a brand and this is really something that God gave us. And so we're just trying to enjoy the journey and impact as many families as we can along the way.
Yeah. So before we move on, like, if y'all can just put in the chat where y'all joining us from, give us some feedback. We love to hear from you, see what your comments are. I'm watching the comments as we go. So, please go ahead and shout out your city, shout out your town, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And let us know where you're tuning in from.
So, since we did the first 2 episodes, we had gotten some questions. just some general questions, whether it was about the, where are we filming, or just our journey. And so we wanted to just take a moment to maybe answer like 2 of those right now. We'll get to some more questions later. So as we're doing this live, please feel free to drop some questions in the chat, and we will definitely get to those as we go throughout the episode. So whatever it is, now don't be trying to don't be getting all of my people's business. Okay. I mean, look, don't come up here and just being a full Negro. Just being too nosy. But like, don't do that.
Because if you listen to the Huddle Mentality episode, we talked about really the importance of there are certain things that happen in the marriage that need to stay in the marriage, right? So we want to make sure that, we're here, we're on this platform, being transparent, being authentic, but please understand that there are still boundaries that we have, and respect those. All we ask,
because we still black folks. Black folks don't tell all their business.
Exactly.
You know how that is.
We ain't about to just be going all into.
That's what Big Mama said. She like, you don't be putting all your business all up in them streets. But no, guys. But seriously, go ahead and put your comments, your questions or comments in the chat, and we will get to them. So one of the questions that you said a lot of people ask is about where we filmed, the setup, and all of that. So
So I was asked that several times, like, are y'all recording at a studio or what? And actually, this is our home studio.
Yes.
So this is
the Jackson joint for real.
This is the Jackson joint for real, right? This is we turn a room in our home into what you guys see. Yeah. And we're grateful for it. It's the perfect spot for us.
Yeah.
And we've been asked like what type of cameras you use. I'll tell those individuals. I'm sure the rest of y'all would not want to be bored with that information. But we're the Jackson joint. We're the production crew. We're the editing crew. We're the lighting cameraman, and we have our son,
the mini Jackson,
13-year-old that is behind he's the mastermind behind the production right now. So
so when you see these cameras switching, that's
him.
That's Jackson Jr.
That is.
So it is the Jackson. It is the Jackson joint for real.
So that's one question that I gotten asked. We gotten asked several times and thought that we just answer that for you guys live here. Well, something else that we
could get to them. We can get to them later. You want to just jump into the episode stuff?
Yeah. So again, let's rewind back to episode 1. We got a ton of comments, and really surprisingly, like the things that we got comments about, we weren't necessarily expecting that. Well, some of them we expected, right? But some of them we were like, why did that part stick out to so many people? But it was, we appreciated all the feedback. But one of the things I think that was probably most commented on was the section about the Shy Brother story, right?
The Shy
Guy story, right? So if you guys have seen 5 Heartbeats, I won't repeat it because hopefully you guys have watched the episode.
And if you haven't, you can just go back and watch it.
You can just watch it. But people were just cracking up talking about that part. Like, man, I was bogus, that I stole Mimi from my friend at the time. And it really wasn't like that. I mean, that's how it looked. That's how it may have played out or looked at. It was playing out, but it wasn't intended in that way.
But that was the move. That was your, you was planting some seeds. Yeah. There you go with that. I mean, see, the higher the pitch go, the more it's like.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said on the episode, like there was definitely an interest, but I was in a relationship at the time, so I wasn't really trying to pursue you. It was just like I guess just making my interest known in some way, but not really trying. Why are you giving me that side eye? I don't appreciate that. Is it that I don't believe you type side eye? Is that?
Okay. Continue.
All right. So, but yeah, so that was one. The you want to take the part about the retreat? I think was another.
We'll delve into that. We'll delve into that. But to give some more layers to that story, amongst many other things that we discussed in the first episode, we did bring a couple on who is absolutely dear to us and can definitely help. Who has so much stuff going through my head who can definitely help to provide more insight to our journey. They've been there with us, in particular, the husband has been with us throughout our entire journey, but his wife. We met her once we were married, and we've been like really close friends. So they can definitely kind of just add more context to what we discussed in episode 1, which is Meet the Jacksons. If you have not had a chance to watch that, you can go back and watch that. So do you want to?
Yeah. So let's bring them on.
The peeps.
Welcome the Keys.
What's up, Facebook Live? Hey, I can't wait to tell his real story.
How y'all doing? And again, these are our people, right? This is family to us, more than friends. We are the godparents to each other's children. We are, friends, lifetime friends, and we appreciate y'all's support, throughout this journey. I know you guys have had an interesting seat and view of our journey. So, we thank y'all for jumping on and sharing with the people just kind of some insights into, what you guys have witnessed of our relationship, our marriage throughout, this time.
We're just glad to be here. We introverts too. I'm total introvert. 100% introverted.
No,
me, I'm like you. I try to hold back as much as I can.
Oh, I already know. I know. Yeah. So you know what? So before we even get into the conversation, so it's customary, or it will be customary, that whenever we have couples on to the Jackson joint, y'all have to answer a question that we choose from our little stash, from our little relationship stash. Okay.
So y'all gotta play along. You can't back out.
So y'all brought this after the fact? Y'all supposed to tell us that
up front.
No. It's supposed to be genuine and catch it. Like, you don't need to prepare for this. So you want to,
because see, the vibe down to the Jackson joint is real, raw, honest, and transparent. And so we gotta, catch you on that shock move to really get that full transparency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So, do we get to run one back after y'all get done?
No, it don't work that way.
This is for the guests.
Okay.
These questions only go one way.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so the question is, what advice would you give your younger self? You can take turns answering that. What advice would you give your younger self?
You go ahead and go first.
To let my feelings be known all the time, be upfront, and talk and communicate. Don't hold back on feelings.
That's good.
That's good stuff.
That's real good. Yeah.
I think I would tell myself, you are nowhere near who you're gonna become. Just enjoy the journey. You're nowhere near. Like every year I evolve into something else, to somebody else. It's like that dude I was in high school, that's a joke. I'm nowhere. I don't even know him no more.
Right.
Let's enjoy the journey.
That's so good. That is so true. And I noticed that happens even more. Like, I don't know if this happened for you, for the both of you, like as you were coming up on 40, even more. It's like you really just get to another place of self-acceptance. And just, oh my God, I am always going to be becoming. Yes. I'm always going to be evolving. So what I'm not about to do is beat myself up at every stage, because it's meant to always be more. There's always supposed to be an after this. So I like that. I like both of them.
There's less room for foolishness. Like, who got time for that? You start growing up and it's like, what used to matter when I hit 40 is like, okay, I'm in another half. I'm in another portion. It's not worth it.
Yeah, so the pressure that you put on yourself, or that we all put on ourselves at those stages, you look back on yourself, you look back now and you're like, what was I thinking?
Right.
I was so young. Why was I so serious about that? Why was I, allowing that to beat me up the way that it did? So that's great feedback.
Yeah.
And Frenchie, yours too. I mean, I know that's been a personal struggle of mine, right? Like I haven't always been one that's been vocal about my feelings or standing up for myself, just in different, different environments, right? I guess it may be just being the youngest of such a large family. You got so many others that are speaking for you, and you don't always, find your voice. And I found my voice, later in life, but I would definitely give myself that advice. Like, don't bottle up feelings. Don't sit on what it is that you're feeling, but get that stuff out.
Yeah. And interestingly, for me, I'm on the opposite end of that. It's like I've learned to just determine when I can just be quiet. You know what I mean? Like everything you feel doesn't have to be addressed. Everything that you feel doesn't have to be said. Like, just calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that when you just have this mindset of, no, but it's the principle, or when I'm speaking up for other people, just getting caught up on the principle of things used to really have me tied up and tangled. But now I'm on the opposite. I'm just learning when to pace myself and say, you know what, it's just not, it's not worth my energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I know go ahead.
Go ahead.
I turned 40 that my tolerance isn't there anymore. Like, because I held back for so long, like David was talking about, it's like I don't even care anymore. It's on a bad end because I'll go from one extreme to the other. You know, I'm gonna be quiet and not say nothing. But now that I'm out, I'm be like, now I'm about to go all in.
So, she's something else now with me. I don't know what they opened up.
Oh God, I love it. Pritchard, you be over there snapping on Sean.
Not just anybody else. I can't take it anymore.
Are y'all praying at the Jackson joint?
Pritchard, like, let me tell you one thing, Buster. Oh my God.
New year, new me.
New year, new me. All right, you want to set up the episode so he can clarify.
So all right, so we're gonna give Sean an opportunity to clarify the story a little bit, because I know you and I had a chance to talk after the episode aired, and you actually brought some things to my remembrance. Because remember, I mean, that was over 20 years ago. We were kids then, so my memory, I would not claim it to be the freshest. So after we talked about it, it was like you were bringing out stuff that I didn't even remember. So you want to kind of give your take on it?
So I first want to tell Facebook I was the one he did that to. So for those who won,
this is the infamous Shy Guy.
Let me go straight to it. I was the one. For those who watch 5 Heartbeats, let me give you some advice. That Shy Guy stuff do not work. Don't send your friend to talk to the girl you want. It don't work. I'm telling you. So let me tell you how this really went. Let me tell you the real story, right? So David and I was talking. We were friends in high school already. We were working together. So we would go to work every day after school. So it just so happened this particular day that I remember we had the company car and we was going to be driving home. And David was saying, you know, we can take Mimi home. She go that way. And I was like, man, I've always been kind of attracted to her. She kind of cute, man. But you know me, I was an introvert for real in high school. I'm like, I don't know how to come at her like that, but let's do the Shy Guy thing. You know, you talk to her for me. Because Dave, though he said he was an introvert, he always been a smooth guy, right? So he gonna go and talk to her for me. When I tell you that wasn't this guy's intent at all. When I've been over there, I'm telling y'all, we pull up at the house. You know, I'm just kind of looking out the van as he talking to her. I ain't never seen them like laugh. Ha ha! Look, this guy had no intention.
I mean, cracking up.
No intentions on doing nothing for me. I don't even know if he said my name. If anything, he was probably like, look, Sean think I'm coming over.
Don't do me. You know good where I am. Y'all just making me have to be this bad guy.
You did say his name. You told me what you were coming up there for, but you still did what you did, though. So that made it even worse.
But I'm saying, I probably didn't mention his name. That wasn't the case.
Okay. Mimi, he was coming over for me, right? Wink, wink. But he may have mentioned to you that he was supposed to be coming over there for me. But I had every insinuation that when he got over there to you, Mimi, he was laughing, giggling, making sure you knew he was interested. The bad thing was he tried to cover it up with the fact that he had a girlfriend.
Exactly.
Listen. Dave was a playboy. He was trying to be good, but he wasn't.
We were just being friendly. I was just being friendly. That's all it was.
Right. So Mimi, we dropped Mimi off, and then when he get back in the car, he telling me, man, I was talking to her. I told you, like he really was about sharing about me. This is the other thing. We was getting the van like regularly, so I was like, man, we just drop off again, man. And now that I put the word in, you could talk to her. I promise you, this man had no intent.
but no. Now did he ever say anything to you? Even though I put it out there for him,
David, you didn't put it out there for me. You didn't put it out there for me.
I did. She said it. I mean,
ain't no way you was laughing that hard.
That was a long time ago. I don't know. Mimi, I don't know.
Let's be honest. We were at the Jackson joint now. Did he ever even? Did he ever even?
She got my back. She got my back. Of course, she gonna say yes.
You said okay. What was your question, Sean?
Mimi, did he ever mention? Outside of the fact of him maybe saying, you know what, Sean really wanted me to send you over here, but I'm digging you myself. Did he ever make any intent? Did have any intent from what you saw of trying to hook me up?
No, but it's cool. I mean, like, what were we? 15 years old?
Can I tell the Jackson joint that he started taking her home without me, or should I just keep that?
I was being a gentleman. Okay. I was being a gentleman. You know,
or maybe I should tell the Jackson joint that you started picking her up for school too on the way down, Damon.
I mean, she was on my way. It would be rude if I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Your boy. Hey, Dave, any of those times were you telling her about me while you was in there bringing her to school?
I think most of the time I was talking about him, right? Most of the time, it was all about you.
No, all about me.
This guy. Oh my God. Sean, I just say thank God for growth.
Yeah,
this guy has come a long way. Like
thank you, God.
He has come a long way. He's sitting over here acting like no, because if I think what I did, you know exactly what you did.
I was young. I was, I had my immaturity.
Oh my God!
Somebody say you cold,
but again, guys. So again, we were. Hey, in comparison, we were babies. Like, I was like 14. David was 16.
Yes.
We're talking about childhood, but it was a funny story though, so that's why we included it. But
Shannon, we were supposed to be best friends. Shannon, you say he put it out there for me. He did not put it out there for me. Look, if anything, he like, man, I set the table. Now, friend would have been like, I set the table. This is what we gonna do, man. Now, next time it wasn't. I don't never remember talking to David again about the next steps after he talked to her.
About the next steps?
I don't believe that.
You never had my number. I never had hers.
Never did.
I mean, we ain't had no sales back then. You know what I'm saying?
We had pages. We worked at the pages company.
Yeah, it was the early days. We was just, because we were working at
the pages company, the cell phone company.
Shop. Ain't that crazy? Like that was when cell phones had just came out. Like we was activating brick phones back then. Like that's how long ago this was. Like straight up brick and bag phones was the extent of the phones that we were activating back then. So again, long time ago. But so y'all talking about I'm cold. Y'all ain't right.
It's a funny story. So we had to include that in the journey because I promise you, I don't think any of us have thought about that probably since that time.
No.
And so when we were talking about the journey, we were like, man, Sean been a part of our journey a long time. And then it hit like, oh, wait. So when he first actually was a part of the journey, Dave was also
I was supposed to be the main part. I was supposed to be the main part, Mimi.
Well, it worked out the way it was supposed to. Let's just resolve that.
Okay, let's move on. My bad. Yeah. Look what I got.
Again, we're talking about childhood.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Talk about childhood fun. So don't y'all be like, oh my God. No, we talk about childhood.
He stole his girl. No, we all happily married now. Chill out.
Absolutely. Exactly. Right.
So y'all talking about I'm cold. Y'all talking about I was immature. So I guess that leads us right into the next portion of the episode.
This was the next story we got a lot of feedback about. Again, It's always this guy. It's always this guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it was the story about the retreat, right? So back then, Sean and I used to go to church together, and it was a church retreat, and I wanted my friends to enjoy Jesus with me at this retreat, have fun, get a little word.
Just having a good time in Jesus.
Having a good time in Jesus.
Just a good old, wholesome time in Jesus.
So it was about how many of my close friends I can invite. So I extended an invitation to Mimi and to some others that were also invited. And they say I was, now they're saying like, what were you thinking? So I don't know, Sean, you can give some insight on that.
Listen, y'all, David swear he the most innocent person in the world. Like if you let him talk,
like he just so oblivious to what's going on.
Well, listen, this man said he was trying to get everybody to come because he wanted everybody to know the Lord and be with the Lord. This man invited Mimi, who he was very much interested in, somebody else he had dated before, and one other person who he had dated before, all to the same retreat. Y'all all
just looking like what I do?
Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean,
like, ain't this normal?
Exactly. Everybody needs Jesus.
So I don't know if I'm supposed to get to it yet, y'all, but he played two of the people, and one of them was not Mimi. Two of them was, I guess they were supposed to get the Lord, and Mimi and David set up to like 6 a.m.
Every day.
I don't know what they were talking about. Just laughing and talking all morning.
That's
and
what
he played
did.
the other ones. I'm still shaking my head.
That's what we do. I mean, we talk, and as y'all heard on the episode, we got reprimanded a couple of times because we were dozing off and falling asleep during the presentation or the word or the service part. But you know, we were getting to know each other better, just having fun. So, but yeah, thinking back on it now,
what do you think about that though? What did Mimi think about it? Well, now that she looked back, well,
you know what? That's nobody's ever. That was one of the things we were talking about. I was just like, what are you doing? Because again, I know you saying like, okay, he had me there as somebody that he was interested in, but I wasn't. That's not what I was there. What I was there for, because I was still with somebody.
I remember that.
Yeah, so he still had his situation. And I was just like, what are you doing? You know? And so he was just like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I just feel like I don't, you know what the big deal is, you know, just kind of like, well, what I do? And I'm like, are you crazy? So I was just like, pulling him to the side.
Did you really not think he was interested in you though?
No. I knew. That's what I'm saying. That's why but I knew he was, but it was like that's not what we were doing. So I'm not there in any way. Like, oh yeah,
she was there in straight like friend mode,
straight up friend mode.
I know that. But David, you always liked it though. So do you really feel like it was all just so innocent? Like, I mean, just the Lord. She just needs the Lord.
Real, because real talk. Like, while there was interest, right? Our friendship was the primary focus for us, and that was since high school up to that point. Like, we were just friends. We weren't trying to be anything other than that, although I expressed interest years before that. So I'm not lying. Speak up. She's looking at me like, okay, yeah, keep going.
I'm letting you tell your piece. But as far as on the actual retreat though, no, it really was like I was just there because I was like, because he kept inviting me. Like I said in the episode, I didn't know what a church retreat was. So I had this real like ignorant, shallow mindset about it. Like it's gonna be boring. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of my mentality. Came and then it wasn't, clearly it wasn't boring at all. But no, I think part of the reason probably why he I don't want to say that's probably the reason why he probably hung with me so much on the retreat, but me being there probably
was
helped.
A buffer.
Probably helped.
She was a buffer for real, because it was getting, it had the potential to get pretty heated. During that time.
So I do remember that y'all weren't dating and that it was a friend thing. But if I look back on things, I don't think he ever really didn't have an attraction for you. He just suspected the fact that you were dating, and some of those times he was dating, but knowing him as a friend, David loved hard, right? Or hard too. So when he like or love somebody, I mean, he may try to keep his distance and boundaries based on where that relationship is. But David, do you think it was ever really a time that you weren't really interested?
No, I think it was what you said. It was just that kind of that unspoken understanding, like, there's interest, but, I respect both of our relationship situations, right? So we just weren't looking to cross those lines. It was just, let's just focus on, like, this isn't a time for us to be in a romantic relationship. We're focused on the fact that we are best friends right now. So, and I think that was just kind of the way that we looked at it until we got further along and we actually did pursue a relationship for real.
Yeah. And so Sean, so we thought it'd be cool to have you on because, again, when we were talking about the first episode, it was so much of those early years. So you were there for that whole transition. Like I said, the high school stuff, and then after high school, and then the dating, and then, even into the marriage. So we talked a lot about how So on the episode, we talked a lot about how we would spend a lot of time just talking, like sun up, sun down, and just hanging. So we thought it would be cool to have you on just to kind of provide that additional, like that outside perspective as somebody who was like up close to the situation. Because I remember you were telling us, or definitely was telling him, like, y'all gonna be together soon. Because like we talked about in the episode, you know, I was coming out of something, he was coming out of something, and I was definitely a lot more hesitant, you know, about like moving forward. And it was kind of like, no, you know, we need to like chill for a minute, you know, whatever. But again, my actions were doing something else. So we just thought maybe we can bring in like a third perspective for somebody who was observing it along the way, just to fill the story in for the people who have listened to the first episode.
Well, I do want to say this part, that I remember this. David was working these jobs, and I know he mentioned this, and David was, I mean, this dude was tired every day. I mean, I would talk to him like, man, I hit a car today. I bumped into this car. He was tired every single day, but he would be coming to your house, like just sitting out there talking to you night after night. And I was like, and he was telling me the same thing y'all saying now. I mean, I can't really get with her because she got somebody, but this is my friend. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody doing what you're doing for no friend. Like you up to 3 a.m, going straight to work sometimes. And when I look back, man, for one, let me just say this to the audience. They really are a power couple. If you're watching somebody that I've seen kind of really become this powerful couple, they're successful in their businesses, they're successful in their parenting, they're successful in how they handle marriage. You don't hear about any scandals or anything in their marriage. I've seen them be a marriage of character. So I can speak to the fact that it goes back to that friendship that they were creating then. Neither one of them was really trying to like disrespect their relationships that they were in, but they had built such a strong friendship that she took my best friend, y'all. He was telling me he was my best friend. I'm like, you ain't my best friend. No, I'm just playing. But he loved her and she loved him, and they treat their children, and their children call their mom and father blessed. So if I can just add anything, all the time that they spent together really learning each other first played a big role into the power couple that they are now. I mean, I love them, and the Jackson joint is real.
We definitely appreciate that, Sean. And like I said, I think having you guys on was especially important because are you hearing feedback in the mics?
No.
Can y'all hear us?
Can you hear us?
Okay? Yeah.
Okay. Because we're getting feedback on this end, but if you can't hear it, that's fine. Can you all let us know in the chat if you all are hearing feedback as well? But again, that's why we want to have you guys on, because it's one thing for us to tell our journey, but we don't really know what it looked like from somebody on the outside. And you were probably the person, maybe with the exception of my mom, maybe the person who was the most close up on it throughout the duration. And then, you know, Frenchie, you came into the picture later after marriage, but have very much so been an integral part of our journey. Once you and Sean got married, and then we just became, the crew. And so that then leads me into episode 2, where we talked about, so for those of you who have not already watched it, it's called The Huddle Mentality. And we're really just approaching marriage from the standpoint of looking at it like a sports team and what's necessary for a sports team to function well. And so one of the things that I talked about on that episode was, one of the things that I mentioned was how I had gone through a season where when I was transitioning out of being at home with the kids full time and then trying to transition into like starting businesses and doing other things, just how like overwhelmed I was all the time. But it was just this idea that I got to be able to like handle all of this and like carry all of this. And not that he was requiring that of me, but I just had this mentality that, no, this is what strong women do. We handle it, we get it done. And so with you being a wife, who I know you wear like a lot of different hats, you a wife, you're a mom, you mom lady. You mom on level 1000, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, her kids is in like 79 activities.
Real tough.
They in acting, they ballet, they do karate, they fence, they do Broadway on the weekend.
Right, exactly.
They dig whales in South Africa. They dig whales in South Africa on Sundays. They fundraise, for the kids. They paint the walls in the hospital. They do all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, baby, I am
It's giving an echo now, y'all. Dave, when you edit the split, it gave an echo.
There we go.
Can you guys hear us okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, so again, just mom on 1,000, but you're also a first lady. You're also a wife. You're also a friend. You know, you're also a niece, an aunt, a cousin. You know, you wear a lot of hats, and you show up like so full throttle in everybody's life that you're connected to. So I don't know if you got that far into the episode where I talked about just this superwoman syndrome that I think a lot of, especially Black women, have. But if you did get to that point, or even if you haven't, just can you speak to that, and can you identify or relate to that?
Yeah, when you started talking about that on that episode, I did get to that point. I could identify a lot because that's how you feel, and it's hard to express that to your partner because you feel like you're supposed to take everything on. You feel like it's, for me personally, I feel like it's not going to get done. Maybe it won't get done correctly if I'm not involved with it.
Right.
So it's hard to relinquish some of those duties to him or even somebody else, or just to be able to say no because I need to step back, you know, and figure out what that balance is. And so it hit home, like when David was talking about if you're already doing something, you're preoccupied working on whatever that is, why can't he say, well, I know we're having dinner tonight, let me go fix it. Or let me do this. Or it's okay for me to take the boys to do this. Same thing for Sean. You know, it's okay if he's involved and does some things and gets involved with the activities or just take something off my plate. But for whatever reason, a lot of times women, we feel like we have to.
Yeah.
And it is hard trying to figure out what that balance is. And sometimes you need to lean on your partner, the spouse, to help figure that out and get that under control, because we'll burn out. We do. We are wearing a lot of hats.
Yep.
We're working. We're taking care of the kids. We got them involved in activities where we're supporting them. Friends, you're listening to them. I'm a nurturer by trade. I'm a counselor, and you end up counseling all day long. I'm not just at work counseling. I'm counseling friends. I'm counseling whoever. I could be random somewhere and people just start talking to me and I'm counseling again. So it's like you can't get away from all these duties. So you need to be able to step away and have time for yourself and figure some things out. So I definitely identify with that.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, you know, in those moments or during those times when you guys are, you know, kind of struggling with that superwoman syndrome, like what is it that we as your husbands can do? Because sometimes we do offer, we are trying to step in, but it's no, I got it. So what is it that we can do to step in and really like almost like not shake you and say, all right, I got it, but maybe give some insight as to what we can do as husbands to help?
Well, I would say, I think it just depends on how strong-headed your wife is about doing those tasks herself. Because sometimes it might have to just be you just do it, you know, without even asking her first or without even mentioning it. Because if she's anything, again, like I was never going to say, yeah, I do need you to do that. I do need help with that. Because again, I attributed so much of my, I don't know. I don't know how to even explain that. I don't know if it was a worth thing or an identity issue, but I attributed so much of my, I guess let's just, for lack of a better word, worth in our union to how much I could get done, you know, how many boxes I could check, how, you know, just how I was going to cape for that day. And so it just, so for somebody like me at that time, again, it would have just had to have been, you just did it, you know, and then I'm not going to be mad that you did it. It's probably going to be this internal sigh of relief. But, so I think that's one thing. I think some of it is being patient. And I think, and if you're a praying man, I would say you have to pray for your wife, because, you know, you have to pray that God would deal with her in the ways that you just don't have the words for. Because sometimes if it's a woman thing, you may not know how to relate to that or how to respond to that. So it might have to be, okay, God, I need you to minister to me on how to minister to her. Because it really is a form of ministry, because you're trying to break a dysfunctional pattern. Because her wanting to have a place in the marriage and her wanting to get things done, there's nothing wrong with that. But when it's in excess and it's coming from a place of either an unhealed place, or it's doing more for her than what it's supposed to do, now it can become very dysfunctional. So, and then you watching her being worn down, and just if you're a natural husband that's a husband that's a natural protector, then you're really like, I don't even like to even see you that stressed out and overwhelmed. And sometimes as women, we don't realize what stress is doing to our bodies until it's too late, because our bodies really will start to materialize the stress that we feel, because I just don't think our bodies were meant to carry that in that way. We just weren't. And it doesn't make us weak or any less strong. We have strength in a lot of ways, but it's just, I think culturally, especially Black women, we just, again, been indoctrinated into this belief system that I'm a strong Black woman and I gotta carry and it's like, I take such issue with that. And I get it. I get why we say that, but I just think it's problematic to keep pushing this idea that Black women, you got to be strong. You a strong Black woman. Because we can say you're resilient. You can say you're flexible. You're pliable. You know how to bend and again, I ain't talking about that kind of flexible. I'm talking about you.
I like that.
Flexible Black woman.
Love that
flexibility. That ain't what I'm talking about.
Can I just say that I agree with what Mimi's saying, Dave. I think for us as men, if I can add this, we miss the opportunities to be the support. Sometimes I don't think it's that we think that they always have to get it. Because I was talking to Frenchie after we was watching Married at First Sight, and we were just kind of just bouncing off each other. And she said, "But you never asked me, can I do that part?" And sometimes I do help her. I'll see the dishes and I'll do the dishes, or I'll do something that she normally would do, take the clothes down to the washer. But are there opportunities that we miss? And I think as we grow in marriages, as you guys are doing, I think that's something, if we had one point here that we can have for men, we got to be more cognizant of what they're going through and what all they're taking on and what can we take. Because there are things we can, but I think we miss those opportunities.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. And I think it comes with maturity. I think it comes with really just being more observant, being more prayerful, being more sensitive to what it is that she's experiencing. So I agree with you. There are times that we just flat out miss it. And hopefully, we grow to that place where it's like, to Mimi's point, I don't want to see you stressed like that. I don't want to see you overwhelmed. So I'm like, no, even if you tell me you got it, no, I got it. I already ordered dinner. Don't worry about it. Or I took the meat out. I already started cooking, or whatever that thing may be. Because it's not just cooking. It's caring for the kids. It's cleaning up around the house. It's running errands. It's all of those things, right? So just being ready and willing to chip in where we can.
Right. Yeah. And in the end, it's still okay for the woman to say and be verbal and say, no, I need help.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Women have to be able to talk and communicate that as well.
I think sometimes we got to kind of make them take a day, and I don't mean make for as enforced. If you get what I'm saying, schedule them a spa date, schedule them something that's outside of the norm. I think we all can work on it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So to our ladies, just again, piggybacking off of what, Frenchie and myself, what we're saying is just give yourself the room to just take a break. You're not any less strong or any less of a mother or wife if you say, I need help, or somebody extends help and you say, yeah, you know what, that would be good. That makes you human. And believe it or not, it's rooted in pride. And so really what you need to resolve is and what you need to overcome is the spirit of pride that you're consumed with, because it's your pride that's not allowing you to say, yeah, I do need help, or yeah, I do need a day off. And again, I think there's a lot of reasons why that pride is there. And I'm not diminishing anybody for that being the situation, how they are or where they are, because I think it's a lot of things that contribute to, again, especially Black women having that cape on at all times. So I'm not diminishing it, but again, I think that the root of it is pride. So ladies, take it easy on yourself.
And just one last thing, I think men, we have to just be mindful, not only to step in and help, but we have to be willing to and ready to affirm our wives, right? In that, hey, everything that you do in this house or for this family is valuable. It's, because especially in households where the man may be the primary breadwinner, right? He brings the money, and sometimes that causes a lack of self-worth for the woman, right? Feeling like I don't make money, I don't bring, so how do I contribute? But that's what we as the men have to really be vocal and say, hey, this house would not run the way that it does. This family would not run the way that it does without you doing the part that you play. So yeah, financially, I may the load may be on my shoulders, but I couldn't do half the things that she does, and that's like homeschooling, 2 kids while running 2 businesses and doing the Jackson joint. I mean, she's so multifaceted, and I get sometimes overwhelmed just my job and just doing the Jackson joint stuff, that if I had to also be trying to split my time and help a 7-year-old through math or helping her, it's just like I know I would be overwhelmed. So I would tip my hat to her all the time. Like, what you do around this house, if you weren't doing it, this house wouldn't function the way that it does. So just a note to the men, we got to make sure that we're affirming our wives and making sure that we let them know that we value what they contribute to the
because even if your predominant love language is not words of affirmation, words still affirm everybody, even if that's not predominantly what you need. It's affirming. So I definitely appreciate that. I don't know if you wanted to.
I was just wanting to ask if there was anything else from episode 2 that stood out to you guys that you wanted to make mention of,
or give your own experience
thoughts on.
I like the huddle, the whole huddle, man. I think you guys came at it at a great way, because as I thought about us, you all know me. I used to tell everything. Like, I didn't have much of a filter, and still many times don't laugh, Mimi. I see you. I can see you on the camera. I really don't have a filter. I share everything. And 2 points I have. One, I don't think it's bad to be open to sharing, but I think it's good that you guys mentioned that you have to have those areas or those confidants, or those who you kind of really give you the truth and say, this is what my wife is, and they're gonna mean well, or this is what my husband is. And I just want to say, you guys have kind of been that for us, because our history of things that were not always tight, but it was those times that has really made us a stronger couple on hopefully both ends. But I can certainly say on this end that we've had times where y'all know the frustration was like, come on, do y'all have anything to add? Because we had a loss. And it's always good to have those extra voices and people who you trust, who mean you well. And I think when you guys are talking about the huddle, I thank God for y'all being in our huddle. It's been something where you guys know some of the deepest secrets, and still I've never heard it again outside of what we share with you guys. So I think that was a good point. And then knowing when to not, I've had to have conversations where she said, well, yeah, that time you did kind of go far. So I'm grateful for that. Like, really, she did have to say you went a little far that time. Because I go as deep as to say anything. Y'all know me. But that was one of my main takeaways.
But yeah, the whole analogy of the huddle was awesome. And then even when you brought it back, talking about who the main coach is, which is God, and you bringing it to him and let him guide you. One of the other pieces that I like was when we're not letting people see what's going on with your situation, even when something's going on. So Mimi brought out, like, there are times your husband's the head of the household, and you might want to go off and say something, when y'all are amidst everybody else. But that's not the time. But there's a time and place to do something. And so I can go in the car and give you a piece of my mind
and lay them out.
But that's something.
So why did so
like, what were you thinking?
Let me dial this back. You get in the car, you wave and people like, all right, y'all, yeah, girl, y'all gonna call you. Yes,
right.
Close that door.
Mimi, I ain't gonna lie though. Mimi. Sometimes your face used to tell me. I don't know if it was because I was your friend.
She can't hide anything with her face. I'm telling you.
Because you know them. That's why.
No, it was never obvious to other people, but I'll be sitting there like,
because because first it ain't gonna be like just get in the car and jap out right away. First, it's gonna be like this extreme side. The body language in and of itself is gonna speak volumes. I'm I'm thinking like, here we go.
Here we go.
Let me go ahead and let this window down, turn this air on to get some wind blowing. Because
and then you ask that stupid question.
He driving 10 and 2 because he already knowing like.
And then you ask that stupid question. So what's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Or just ask something real random like, Did you want to stop and get something to eat?
and then I'm like, no, I'm not hungry, but I just find it real funny.
Right.
Like, get from a food to right in there.
Tell me.
That was the lead in.
Yeah. And then you get in that kind of like ain't nothing going on. You wave at the cheese, and boy, when you turn that corner, it's like
right.
And again, like we said on the episode, it's not about being fake. It's just being mindful.
It's just being mindful.
Like, this is not the time
keep
or
it
the
in
place,
the huddle.
and keep it. Keep your business within your house, right? Like, because sometimes, like we said, people start seeing cracks. They start trying to enter the cracks, right? And you don't want to have any outside influences, that can penetrate your relationship and, cause it to go bad. So, but yeah, it's just a time and place for
Frenchie,
everything.
you want?
Yeah, go ahead, Frenchie. I'm sorry.
Trying to answer that.
No, that's okay. Now y'all were fine. I lost my train of thought with that. But
y'all know probably because her husband be talking too much. You can say that anymore.
But I was talking about Mimi also brought up during the huddle mentality about how you're trying to be careful of what's being said out in the open with other people. People don't always have your best interest at hand, and when you have to really understand and know who you can talk to and who you can trust to handle that business. And one of the things you brought up about is that men are not always as detail oriented as we are, so they'll go off and say certain things, and that really bothers me. Sean knows I'm very detail oriented, so and it makes a difference when you leave out information or if the story is not told a certain way.
Yes,
they. Let me say
that is so irritating.
I love when y'all talked about the family dynamic and like the differences or how you raised and all. Because she was a single child,
only child, right?
Only child. With our family, you had to hurry up and get yours in, though. For real, like, anyway, you couldn't go no long story. You had to get yours in.
Exactly.
Yeah, Frenchie gonna tell you. So no, it was Friday. No, had to be Tuesday about. Was it 8? And she goes, no, you need to know the time. And I'll be thinking, like, why?
Because the time can be important.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And we should definitely be an issue. It's like, because she wants, like, if I'm going to tell a story, like, when I come back, let's just say I went somewhere and I told her that I was telling somebody something. She want to know exactly how I told it so that she can make sure
that you didn't leave out that part.
Because if I tell it the way that I told it, she's going to be like, but how are you going to leave out that part? Because if you don't have that part, then they can misunderstand this part. And I'm like, look, I was just trying to get to the point. Like, we don't need to take them through the whole journey. Like, just let's get them to the point. She's like, no, because that detail is what's important. And I'm like,
Frenchie would jump on the call and be like, let me tell it, because you missing the point.
Like, you're not giving it the right energy. You ain't telling it right. You leaving out critical information. Because he'll come back and tell me that he told a story or something. I'm like, oh man. So then what they say when you told him such and such part? He like, oh, I ain't even tell that part. And I'm like, but that's right. Like that's what happened. How did you leave that critical piece out?
So that's why.
So then what did you say?
With wisdom, that's why I start even on like text threads. When people texting me back and forth about something we working on, I'm like, let me add my wife to this text thread so that she can go ahead and she say it because she knows she gonna sum it up right, and then I ain't got to worry about me leaving out information. Hey, you know what? Let me add my wife on the 3-way so that she can go ahead and tell you the story because I done failed that too.
I just tell them to call my wife, Dave. Just call Mimi. And then she'll tell me.
Yep. Exactly.
So we don't want to keep them all night. So we have so enjoyed you guys coming on. This was great because you know how we are. We'll be to have these people in here for 4 hours because we forget we even live and we just talking. Right. So yeah, we don't want to hold y'all all night because we know that you had Bible study and everything tonight, so you're probably tired. And I know the girls probably had 50,000 different.
Is this what you say when you throw people away? Like you probably got stuff to do. It's Friday. You
close this refrigerator, right?
Y'all tired?
Like, girl, let me call you back. I gotta go turn this TV off. Just saying anything. Right. But no, that's not what we're doing. We really don't want to hold because, like I said, we will talk forever because we have so many stories to share, probably about every point we made about in the huddle episode. So we don't want to, that's why we got to have y'all back. Like, you got to leave a little cliffhanger. You know what I mean? Like, we got to have y'all back down to the joint.
Next time, I promise I won't say as much. But I like the Jackson joint. So I'm like, hey, can y'all add a couple to it?
The Jackson and the Key joint? Nah, this don't have that same.
No, we just gonna go with the Jackson joint, not the Jacksons and the Key.
So, Pastor Deshaun, actually, tell the people where they can learn more about you and your ministry, you and First Lady Key.
So we have been pastoring we're in our 7th year. And
thank God for that,
because Dave and Mimi been here through 0. They were here when we started. And we had a lot of adversity, and God kept us, and we made it through. So we're in our 7th year. Right now we're in Dalton at 14801 Lincoln Avenue. Mm-hmm. We're in Dalton, and we have our services at 2 p.m. We found ourselves kind of ministering to that group that really is trying to young or learning from a basic level, or really just trying to feel like they can get Jesus wherever they are. So if you need to come visit with us, you're welcome to do so. You can find us on Facebook. That's really the only place that we're really doing it from social media. The name of the church is Out Front for Christ Ministries. I'm the senior pastor. This is my wife. She go by Frenchie, but her name is LaFrance. So I want to thank y'all for having us on, man. We enjoyed it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we absolutely loved having you guys. And so, guys, definitely check out their ministry. They are in Dalton, Illinois. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, definitely check them out. They are a ministry that is real big on family. They promote marriages. They have such an amazing marriage ministry, youth ministry. And we're just really, really proud of you guys. I know we've told you that before, but we're telling you again in front of everybody just how proud we are, and just it's just been amazing.
I just told Dave we got to have y'all next year for the marriage retreat. We just finished our marriage retreat that we have in October. I think y'all come do a nice session, man. Bring the Jackson joint to Illinois.
Absolutely.
Put the Jackson joint in the road. We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Absolutely.
No, we appreciate that. We look forward to it.
So we thank you guys, and you guys have a good night. We love you guys.
Love y'all. All right.
So guys, I hope that you enjoyed meeting our closest friends, and getting some more details filled in on the Shy Guy story and the infamous retreat. So we just wanted to kind of color in some of those details, because those were some of the questions or feedback that we got. In definitely more feedback on those 2 stories from the first episode, as well as our journey. So we wanted to bring on a couple who could really shed some light on all of those things.
So we actually had a question. So you want to
sure
take it? So,
go ahead.
All right.
I can't see that.
Okay. This is from Nika. How do you manage time in your marriage as far as your schedule with the kids, work, and having time for each other?
You know what? First of all, hey, cuz. Hey, girl. That's my little cousin, y'all. So how do we manage the time? So first of all, that is going to look different each season. So in our episodes, we talked a lot about how your marriage goes through seasons, your relationships goes through seasons. So what may have worked from a time management standpoint in one season might not work in the next one. So it's constantly evolving, and it's always changing. So just be open to what that needs to look like from one season to the next. So if you're saying, okay, in this season, because I'm trying to accomplish X and you're trying to accomplish X, and we got the kids in school, and we still have to cook and manage the household, Thursday nights we're doing this, and we're not changing that. Thursday night is going to be the night. That's the time when you know what I mean? And so you have to, be on one page, be on one accord with what you're pursuing in that time as well. Because when you're in a marriage, now you're one. So it can be, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and pursue my doctorate tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what you think about that? You good? I already applied. I got accepted. You ain't got to worry about that. It's like, I can't make life altering decisions like that without considering my mate. So we're coming to the table discussing big decisions even before we make them, because we have to also understand that what's contingent, what's an adjacent to that goes that adjacent word again, is the fact that our household is now going to be shifting. So what does that need to look like? So you need to have the conversation on the front end. This is what I'm looking to do. How do you feel about that? How will this work for the movement, of our marriage? How can we adjust? And then you do that, and then be willing to adjust again if that adjustment doesn't work. there is literally no one answer. It is just, but the base thing that you have to be is open. You have to be open to whatever the season requires. And then when you try it and it doesn't work, come back to the table again and say, okay, you know what, we tried that. That's not really working. And you two have to be in communication about that along the way. Because it could be you thinking it's working great, but they're not liking it at all. And they're not saying anything. And now they're resenting you or feeling frustrated with you because they're not communicating. So it requires maturity. Because we talked about one of the things we mentioned, you know, after we did our episode, was just how much maturity has to be a part of communication, effective communication in marriage. So you have to be mature enough, one, to be open to the change, and then mature enough to communicate when the change is just not working. And then being open to receiving the feedback and then saying, okay, how can we adjust? One person cannot make it work on their own. So it can't be you're the mature one, you're the open one, you're the communicative one. And that's all it takes. It has to be both. So yeah, that would be my advice to you, cuz, is to have as many conversations as you can on the front end about all of what y'all are working on and seeing where you both agree or disagree on these potential changes that are coming.
And I think another thing, you said it great, babe. It takes intentionality, you know, because what part of your question was how do you make time for each other and your kids in the midst of everything that's going on, right? And that is you have to be intentional. Like, part of our spending time is the fact that we watch certain shows together, right? So that is, we know every Wednesday night we're gonna be watching Married at First Sight, and that is our time. That regardless of what's going on, we make sure that we have that time. So that's just one example. Or with our kids, making sure that we are spending time. So it's really making a decision that despite all the things that we have going on, we have to make sure that we're intentional about making time for each other. But it's, you know, it's finding what works for you. It's planning. It's you know, again, being flexible and adjusting. You know, we ran to a period of time where it was like we were finding it challenging to, you know, coming off of homeschooling into this kids after school programs, and then, you know, recording for the Jackson Joint, or all the other things we were doing. You know, Mimi was finding a challenge, or I guess both of us were finding a challenge with, like, what are we going to cook? What are we going to eat? And getting dinner started on time, right? So we decided to make, you know, we made a change in how we did dinner. So we started ordering the meals in the box, and that was a easy way for us to stay on task, because those meals were, you know, they typically take 30-minute prep time. Everything you need is in the bag. The meat comes with everything you need. So it's like, you know, we could get those meals done, and we didn't have to be thinking about, all right, what we're gonna cook tonight. We planned the meals out for the week, and then we just take those bags out and get them going. So those are things, that ways to adjust so that you don't get overwhelmed by time. So that's
absolutely. So I don't know if there were any other questions.
I didn't see any other questions. But
okay.
Yeah.
So. Okay, cool. So again, we thank you guys for joining us. And we hope that, you know, as always, you were able to come and just have, you know, laughs and just kind of unwind with us down to the Jackson Joint. Again, we are so appreciative of you all. We're appreciative of this journey. And this is, you know, it's a ride that we're excited about going on, and look forward to taking as many of you on this ride as possible. If you're not already, you can follow us on the Jackson Joint on Facebook and Instagram, as well as YouTube. Our episodes are video on YouTube, or you can listen in on podcast apps, so Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all of those things. I don't know if you wanted to leave any final words for. We gotta find a cool name for the people that pull up to the Jackson Joint. I gotta think of something cool. We're gonna come up with something.
We will. But no, thank you guys who've been on this live from the beginning and stayed on and listened to us run our mouths, and, you know, but we thank y'all for the support. Again, continue to comment, give us your feedback. Also, you know, let us know what topics you guys would like us to do episodes on. We have, you know, a list of things that we are planning already, but we want to hear from you guys about what is it that you would find helpful for us to talk about, so you guys can do that. Send in DMs or messages on our Jackson Joint pages, or you can email us at info@thejacksonjoint.com.
Yes. So until next time, be well, love well, and just live your best life and stay in peace always. Ashe.
Peace.
Peace.